and students and former students from all over the world. So this is all very exciting. Some of you joining us for the first time, and we've been testing the Zoom platform for the last 3 weeks and it's working out. This thing got started because the world has changed. Now this session, this whole month of April, we were doing little Zoom sessions because I also want to give something back to the community. And this is something we can do, and it doesn't involve any exchange of money. And it's great. And isn't it wonderful? Let's give ourselves an applause. We have people from all over the world joining in. I'm very excited about people being interested in learning some of this work. So I will do some teaching a little bit, and then I'm going to do an active meditation because this class is about how to stay calm in the midst of crisis. Future classes like this is what I call my series of lessons in life. Little stories, little lessons I've learned that made a big difference in my life and that I share with my clients and friends. And hopefully in some small way, it will help you live healthier and happier. That's my goal. For many years, I chose, well, when I was a little girl, I wanted to be the first brain surgeon in Malaysia, female. So now I've reunited with many of my classmates, many of whom are surgeons and medical professionals, because we were in Malaysia, we were tracked. I was in a biology mathematics track. And most of the students are selected from top schools and placed in this little elite school. So most of my classmates have had very illustrious careers as surgeons and dentists and doctors and psychiatrists and so forth. It's fascinating to come back together after 50 years and find out what everybody has done with their lives. So my lab partner, Simon, is a very prominent cardiac surgeon. I bumped into him several years ago, and then he said, so what have you been doing? Because when we were lab partners, he wants to be a cardiac surgeon. I want to be a neurosurgeon. Well, I said, I'm still a brain surgeon. I only don't use a knife. And he says, well, he says, it turns out I'm nothing but a glorified plumber. Because he hardly ever sees his patients. When he meets his patient, usually they're unconscious. And so he says, I have no relationships with my patients. And I said, well, my clients become lifelong friends afterwards, because as a result of the process that we do, they have gone through a major transformation in their lives. And they're very grateful. And I tell people the process that we do is short term. And after that, I don't need to see you unless you want to buy me a cup of tea. And I'm a cheap date. I don't even drink alcohol. Just a little water and some leaves will do. So for those of you who are tuning in, who are not familiar with the work of hypnotherapy, please go to the website. There's lots of information to share. Those of you who'd like to study with us, you're most welcome. And those of you who just want to tune in and see what you can benefit from it and share with others, you're most welcome. The whole idea of crisis, in Chinese, we call it 危机, danger and opportunity. So in any encounter of a critical moment in a crisis, we experience a tension of being scared. And in that moment of fear, it's a split crucial opportunity to either do something that will save your life or do something stupid that will end your life. It's really as simple as this. Any choice we make, in any situation we make, is a binary yes or no. Sometimes life seems so complicated because we are not in the moment. We stay right at the moment and we look at many things happening around us. And all these things come together all at once.
And instead of staying in the moment to deal with one thing at a time, my students will remember, how do you eat an elephant? How do we eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
Okay, one bite at a time. I see my hands going up, right? One bite at a time. But what do we do? Crisis is what happens when we're greedy. Greedy in a sense, we want to swallow the whole elephant in one gulp. And you know, even if you do, you end up with indigestion. It's not very effective. So what happens to us in crisis is that we see not only the circumstances at hand at the moment, we also see beyond our visual scope and see other situations. And somehow our minds bring all these things together. And it's one mesh of complicated stuff. And you don't know where to begin. I remember telling a story about what's the difference between something that's complex and something that's complicated. Okay, imagine you have a basket of yarn. There are 5 balls of yarn, right? Beautiful colors, 5 different colors, and you put it in a basket. And you have this great desire, tomorrow I'm going to start this project. I'm going to knit. I know guys, you don't knit, you should, because it's good for you. And you're going to make this wonderful Afghan with all these colors. So you put the basket and the knitting needles on the table and you go to sleep. Unfortunately, you have 2 kittens in the house. Guess what? They climb on top of the table, they get into your basket of yarn, and they have a whole evening of yarn fight while you sleep peacefully. You wake up in the morning, what do you see? So what was complex, by definition, is a multivariate situation, many different balls of yarn, has turned into complication. Because now you have one basket of integrated different colors of yarn and you don't know where to begin. I would call that crisis, don't you? So what is the difference? It's the same basket of yarn. Nothing has changed. Nobody's put new colors in there. So what happens? Now you look at this basket of yarn with so many things entangled. What is the difference? What changed? Because last night you were very excited. You know exactly what to begin, where to do, what you are going to do with this basket of yarn. This morning, you have one big ball, 1 instead of 5, big ball of yarn. What changed? The thing that changed is this. There's a new element added to the basket. And that element is fear. Right. 5 different balls of yarn. So what is different is this. We have all added an element of fear. I'm looking at this basket. Oh my God. Now fear sets in, right? How am I going to get this thing sorted out so I can get back to last night? Now we can imagine how many different things we can slot into. What can I do now to get back to status quo? And then further fear sets in. What if I couldn't? Right? What if I couldn't? So at the bottom line, as I said in the last session, everything that drives our quality of life is energy. The energy is that fuel that moves how we feel as human beings. That's what is different, right? We feel, therefore we are, not we think, therefore we are. We feel, therefore we are. Now, those of us in hypnotherapy and other therapeutic modalities know what is one thing your clients want across the board. I don't care what kind of ailments they come to you, what kind of problems they come to you. What do clients want? Somebody raise their hand. What do clients want? Umesh. Umesh?
Feel better.
Yes. They only want one thing and one thing only. They don't know how to ask the specific question, but it doesn't matter what complaints they come in. They can go through 5 generations of horrible people who did horrible things to me. It's all their fault. But it's one thing and one thing only they are after. And that is, I want to feel better than what I'm feeling right now. And so why do they feel bad? Why do they not feel good? Is because of fear. The chi within us is invested in 2 options, and 2 options only: fear or love. Fear or love. And everything you feel that makes you want to smile has to come from a place of love, joy, peace, what else? Happiness. You know, I've been, the last few weeks, been full-time babysitter for my grandson who's a year old today. It's the hardest job I have done in a long time. But the payback is so tremendous. The little boy, he would just plop his head on my shoulders and he would purr like a kitten and he'd go, and he put his little hand and he pets on my head. And I'm like, oh my God, this is pure gold. This is, you see all the smiles on the faces? This is pure gold. How can anybody not smile? I guess little babies are wired that way to protect them because they're cute and they smile at you and you don't have a choice but to love them back. It's their protection until we get older and become nasty people and people become nasty to us, right? So how about we go back to the emotion of fear and love. Therefore, everything that causes anxiety, everything that causes us to feel not good has to come from a place of fear. And in a moment, Steve will put up the fear, my little fear diagram again to show you. We have all our own little pocket of energy when we're born. Energy is energy. It can neither be created nor destroyed. As we get older, if you look at the 1-year-old baby, he's pure joy. The only time he fusses is if he has a messy diaper, is uncomfortable, or he's hungry, or he's hurt. He banged his head on the wall and he's hurt. Those are the only times he would fuss. Babies are not born fussy, right? They're born lovely beings. But what do? As they grow up, we teach them how to be scared. What's the first word we teach them? No. In all good faith, to protect them, right? You take them to the fire and you say, hot, no. I did that a couple of days ago myself to protect them because they don't know if they put their hand in the fire, they'll hurt themselves, right? But as we get older and older, more and more fears and the things that tell us we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't do that. And very soon, guess what? We are scared of our own shadow. By the time we get to whatever age we are, we have so much fear. And now our data bank in our minds are full. Our closet is cluttered with so much fear. You can't do this. You eat this, you're going to die. You do that, you're going to die. You do that, you're going to die. So we have so much that we have at our cache, our RAM, whatever, your little piece of brain, something happens and it fires, bzz, 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 and suddenly you have a lot of fear. Last week I talked about how many of you have been bitten by an elephant? Nobody, right? At least not in this crowd. But how many of us have been bitten by a mosquito? Everybody has. One mosquito bite is not important, right? 2, 3, 4 can be a nuisance. But if 100 mosquitoes descend on you all at once, then it becomes overwhelming. Anger has to come from fear, right? Anger is like a little blob of energy of fear. It's floating around somewhere, and then somebody pisses you off. Boom. Snakes come out of your mouth, or it comes to the back of your teeth and you're not allowed to say it, then you swallow it. And it goes inside. So that energy has to go somewhere. So we collect a lot of fears. And I define anxiety as a person living in a lot of fear. Day to day, you feel like you're walking on eggshells. Somebody's going to go out and get you. You're going to get fired from your job, so on and so forth. And that I call that anxiety.
You have one blob of fear, you have one line of fear, then there are more days in the week than not that you're walking on eggshells. I call it depression. On the one side of the behavior is, I don't want to engage with the world, I don't want to get up. The other side is so much fear, and that happens a lot, and we don't see that as anxiety. You have people who are workaholics, because work is such a good excuse to escape from things you have to do, right? I got a job. I got 3 jobs. You know, I'm too busy. I can't take care of my children. I can't take care of my dogs. You know, I have people come to see me. Oh, the dog, their pet is the most important thing. I said, how much time do you spend with your pet in the course of a day? Minus taking him out to poop and feeding him. How much time do you play with your pet? Not even an hour. So you're lying. Something is important to you, but you don't give it the time of day. Or worse still, your own children or your spouse, right? Oh, I love my wife a lot, but he's never home. I know what it's like a long time ago to be lonely in my own bed. That's a horrible thing, right? Not now, I'm married to my best friend, but I know what it's like. So when that fear becomes even more, like in the pattern of depression, I have little places for things to come through. Sun can come through sometimes, it's not always dark. But when it gets to a point where we are always dark, that's what I call despair. Where there doesn't seem to be any hope, any light coming through. And it's very sad, and that's when people would go out and not only destroy themselves, they will destroy strangers in the first place. Okay, that sort of reiterate the basis of how to stay calm. So how do we manage all this craziness around us? How do we manage all these fears that we've collected with or without our knowledge, with or without our permission? And so everybody sitting in the room has your own little bucket of fear, right? Once I had a client come in who was afraid of butterflies. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine being afraid of butterflies? She couldn't go out in the garden. She couldn't go outside for fear a butterfly might descend on her. What is scary to you may not be scary to me. Everyone's perspective is their truth. So when you say, oh, I can't imagine they're afraid of a coronavirus. When I look at the news, it's really amazing. This morning, there's all this argument about whether to resume work or go out and all that. We have scientists to give us a body of evidence and knowledge of what it is. And then we have people who have bigger mouths than they have brains, and they will give you a lot of misinformation to generate a lot of discord, to get us all subscribed to this whole idea of fear. So I'm going to take a moment and talk about, if we can deal with the worst fear in our lives, everything else will be easier, don't you think? Mm-hmm. So what is one thing that most people fear the most? In my last 15, 16 years of full-time hypnotherapy practice, I have learned that people are people. You and I look at our faces, we're all different colors, different ages, from different life circumstances, right? What is one thing in common? I'll tell you, the medical doctors in this team will tell you if they bleed, it's pretty much the same color. Some people may think they have blue blood, but believe me, I think if you go bleed everyone, they'll know that we pretty much The other thing I do when I teach diversity classes is everybody stick out your tongue, please. If you look at each other and stick out your tongue, it's not a whole lot of variation, right? Unless you're very ill. You know, Chinese physician will diagnose your illness by the look of your color of your tongue. But I think we are more alike than we're not alike. Fundamentally, we are all the same. And I can tell you, the coronavirus is smarter than all of us. It knows that. It doesn't matter what nationality, where you are, how smart, how not smart you are, right? If you present yourself in its presence, it will invade you. That's what it's all about, right? So what is people's most deepest fear? Granted that I believe that the quality of our lives is directly related to how we feel. How we feel as an individual, how we feel as a partner, how we feel as a member of this community, how we feel and how we like other people to accept us, right? So the worst thing that most people fear is the fear of not being good enough, right? The fear of not being good enough. I call it my bad country western song. If you think I'm not good enough, I'm going to lose my job, I'm going to lose my house, I'm going to lose my wife, I'm going to lose my gun, I'm going to lose my truck, I'm going to lose my dog, and I'll be the homeless being in the street and nobody will want me. See, Umesh is playing his guitar, right? And nobody will want me. And why? Because I'm not lovable. The worst fear is to be not lovable. So given all that, my analysis of crisis and how we respond to it is very simple. Crisis is when we turn something complex into something complicated. Crisis is when we look at any given situation and we instantly throw in buckets of fear. Crisis is when we look through our present circumstances through lenses of fear. That we cannot deal with this, that we cannot be good enough. Now, there are many things to learn when I talk about energy medicine down the road, but I do believe and I've seen it happen. Now, I know this is not hard science. I've left that behind a long time ago. As I tell people, I'm a recovered scientist. I look at what's in front of me in the last 16 years of work. That changing your mind, not changing how you think, but changing how you feel will change your life. Long time ago, when I was new to the country, I went to a flea market and I saw a very large man wearing a t-shirt, and I still remember it today. It says, "I am fat, you are ugly, but I can go on a diet." I am fat, you are ugly, but I can go on a diet. What that says to me is this: I am what I am. I have the power to make a change, but I can't change the fact that you are mean and ugly by calling me fat. Right? So you may not like me, that's okay. I happen to like me. So the whole basis of our work is to teach a person to take control of herself and take responsibility for her behavior. I'm making a quantum leap here so that I can at least finish this section and go to do some physical work to help ourselves stay calm. Is this: you like something or you don't like something, it doesn't change that something. Let me say that again. You like that something or you don't like that something, it doesn't change that something. Now let me apply it to me. If you like me, that's okay. It's nice. I'm not going to jump up and down because you like me. Sorry about that. If you expect me to go, oh, hallelujah, you love me. Not going to. Because if I do, the minute you withdraw that liking, I would be devastated. Been there, done that. I think everybody can relate to that. If I am so attached. Now, watching children is fascinating, right? Right now, the baby, he plays with something. The minute he turns his head, he sees another item over there. He'll drop it like a hat, go over there. A little longer, I think, Steve, you can verify that, but 2, Piaget's stage of development, the child will start developing its autonomy. This is mine. Yes? This is mine. This is my ball. The minute somebody takes that away from him, what's he going to do? He's going to scream blue murder. Same thing, a client comes in, I illustrate that point. I say, you know, as an hour ago when you've been here for an hour, I just heard on the news on my phone there, when I took a break, there's an accident, you know, round the corner where you park the car. Somebody ran into a parked car in the parking lot. The client will say, nah, no big deal. Now I describe, it is that red Lexus such and such model with such and such license plate. It changes the whole game. Oh my God, that's my car. What happens? Fear sets in. Somebody's car gets crashed. It has nothing to do with you. Doesn't affect you. Your car gets damaged. Fear sets in. Oh my God, I don't have the car. Can't go to work. I'm going to miss that meeting. I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose my wife. I'm going to lose the house. I'm going to be that. You get the drift. I call it get down to the bottom of the barrel. Except what happens is, it happens in our mind so fast. Nanoseconds. Zip, 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 boom. And you start to scream. You wonder where that comes from. Now, if we could just slow-mo and stretch it out and say, oh, okay, I'm fully insured, not a problem. Call my insurance guy, get it fixed. Rental car will give me a loaner. I can still get to my job, do my thing, and I won't be the homeless man in the street tomorrow. Now, all these things happen very quickly and they don't make any sense because it doesn't make any sense. You cannot logically reason away an emotion, right? So it's all about how we feel. So coming back to crisis and how to stay calm. I see 2 things. Things in life are always complex. Complex meaning they're multivariate. There are many parts to any given challenge or problem, right? Agreed? Not yet, right? Then the stress comes from trying to compress time, right? So what do? We are sitting in this situation and we've got all these things happening and we try to bring the future into the present. Well, gosh, this stuff happens tomorrow. There are more people going to die. There are more blah, 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 blah. So you're sitting there, right? A moment ago, you're happily sipping your cup of coffee. All of a sudden, you hear all this bad news. Some things are factual, some things are conjecture. But somehow your brain doesn't know how to interpret that. It takes everything into one big ball of fear. Whoops, you want to go throw up, right? Because your mind cannot accommodate so much information. It can't process enough. So it defaults to fear. It always defaults to fear. It never defaults to love. As I said earlier, last session, worry is when you invest a lot of emotional energy into expecting a negative outcome.
Worry is to put a lot of emotion into expecting a negative outcome. Nobody worries about Santa Claus coming, right? Unless you've been a very bad boy, right? Nobody is scared of Santa Claus coming unless you're a very, very bad girl. So we get excited. So it's the same amount of energy, you get excited. Just as in hypnotherapy, if a client comes in and say, I want you to help me have more confidence. I have no confidence. And I said, that's not true. You have lots of confidence. In fact, you have so much confidence that you believe that you have no confidence because you have so much confidence in your not being able to do something that is making it a reality for you. So all I have to do is, I can't give you confidence. I can help you make that switch. Flip the switch from negative to positive. That's all I can do. I can't give you something you don't already have. Sure, you have lots of confidence. I know we have an attorney here. Once I coached an attorney who hadn't been to court in a very long time. She has no confidence in going back to court. It's the same thing. I say, you've got lots of confidence. I'm not going to make you a lawyer. I'm not a practicing lawyer, although I went to law school. But you have a lot of confidence. You just don't believe that you can put that in a positive place, right? I also worked a case where I went in to be a client advocate in a mediation process where her husband was killed, right? And I checked with the attorney going into the negotiation. I said, how confident are you in winning for my client? And he goes 50-50. I said, you are not representing my client today. All right, I can get my 4-year-old granddaughter to do that with a 50-50 shot. So I said, until you believe that you are going to walk in and win for my client, you're not going in that room representing my client. Let's get another attorney. Or you can let me work with you. And he said, you're going to hypnotize me. I said, only if you allow me to, only if you wish to win for my client, or you're fired. So simple, right? Yes or no, at any critical juncture, deal with one thing at a time. Stay in T0. Stay in the moment. Stay in the moment. Accept that every day and in every way, we are constantly dealing with multiple layers of challenges. If we try to do everything all together at once, it will be what I call disaster, right? Medical doctors here, when you're treating a patient, you have your own algorithm what to treat first, right? Somebody presents in the ER not breathing with multiple fractures. You're not going to fix her fractures first. If you do, she'll be a very pretty corpse, right? You know what to attend to first. So in any decision we make, we have to deal with two things: urgency or importance. Is it you? So in crisis, you attend to something that's urgent and important first. If you don't resuscitate breathing, patient is dead and there's no need to do. It's one way to get rid of your patients, let them die, right? But we don't do stuff like that. So you look at in any tough decision-making moment, right? If you have the training of doing critical analysis and you go quickly to what is the weakest link first, right? The example I gave in the emergency room is quite obvious. If the person's not breathing, if you don't resuscitate, it doesn't matter what else you do thereafter, right? So it's just like in the modern day crisis, there's going to be myriad of information, misinformation out there. The only way we can stay calm is to go inside ourselves and stay centered and deal with what emerges that's most important and most urgent for you to attend to. All right. Some people will say, oh my gosh, you know, I've got to have that essential drink on an Easter morning, because if I don't, I'm not celebrating Easter. Right. So is your body at risk? Is your life at risk, or is your soul at risk? Are those essential activities? We decide for ourselves. What is good for us is also good for our neighbors. Okay, so take it T0, whatever craziness goes on, when the train is going crazy in the wrong direction, step 1 is to stop the train. Stop it. You have to just find a moment where you check out so you can deal with it. Yes, last session I talked about awareness. So how I want to teach this is, today is session 2. In Buddhist meditation, I learned 3 things. First is awareness. The awareness of breath is to come to the center and find T0 is what I call it. It's like, tell all the monkeys to stop chattering, be still. And how do you get to be still? I teach you how to be aware of your breath. And that is, and we will practice it in just a moment. I ask you to not close your eyes, because you would want to close your eyes, right? So it requires a little effort. I ask you not to close your eyes, focus on something directly ahead of you, and count as you breathe. It's very weird to have to count as you breathe. Most people can count 1, 2, 3, 4. But I'm challenging you to count to 10 because it requires effort. Some people will count to 4 and not be able to do that and have to inhale or exhale whatever they're counting. But if you challenge yourself to breathe in, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, usually around about 6, you would say, oh man, I can't do this. I have to let go or inhale or exhale. But if you challenge yourself to the 7, 8, 9, 10, you know you have paid attention to your breath, yes? And as you exhale, as you go 10, 9, 6, 7, and go all the way down, usually by about 5, you're fizzled out, right? But if you do it the second time and the third time, and you get to the 10, you have just succeeded in being aware of your breath. The part 2 is to witness, okay? To witness yourself is to, once you stay in that moment of calm, I want you to imagine that you're leaving your body. This is kind of out-of-body experience. I want you to imagine that you are taking your consciousness outside of your body and looking at yourself from the outside as you breathe. So you're like, hey, I'm standing outside looking at me. This is how she breathes in and out. Or maybe she snores a little as she does. Whatever it is, you want to witness that. And next week, I will do the part 3 in how to appreciate that moment. All right, now we're going to practice. Sit comfortably, feet on the ground. Do not close your eyes. I know everybody has the urge to close their eyes. Focus on a spot directly in front of you. And just relax your body. With your eyes still open, focusing on a spot in front of you. And I will count for you. As you inhale to a count of 10, do the best you can. Hold for a sec, and then I will say exhale, and you exhale to a count of 10, do the best you can. And don't worry if you don't make the 10. This is why it's called practice. Ready now? Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Exhale. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Give yourself a break. Breathe normally for a sec. How did that feel?
Oh.
Okay. We'll do it again. Relax, focus, eyes still open. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Exhale. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Third breath, give yourself a little, do your regular breathing for a sec. Relax your body. Again, the third time, take a deep breath, eyes still open. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Exhale, close your eyes. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now resume normal breathing. Breathe in and out, easily and naturally. Just enjoying a moment of peace and calm. There is nothing to do right now. Just listen to the sound of my voice. You may notice other sounds in the room, and as you do, let these sounds send you further into relaxation. It's so nice to be with yourself just for the moment. Breathe in and out, and in and out. Relaxing just a little bit more. If you feel this to be enjoyable, can you enjoy more? Allow yourself to enjoy a little more and a little more. And now you just feel this wonderful, wonderful peace and calm. Nothing matters right now. Just you and your breath. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. And now I want you to imagine a ray of light coming from above, gently connecting with you in the center of the top of your head. Feel this ray of light coming through your head and penetrating your body, lighting up every cell in your body, flowing through your head, your neck, and as it flows through your physical consciousness, you feel more and more relaxed. Your neck, your upper torso, spread across to the tips of your fingers. Wiggle your fingers, feel the energy, and it flows through your entire body, down through your hips, your thighs, your knees, and your toes. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. Breathe in and out. Let this divine energy now scan through your entire body, lighting up all parts of your body, every cell, and energizing your own immune system. Breathe in and out. Let this light tune all your cells to a higher frequency to get your immune system to the best possible state. Breathe in and out. Imagine yourself smiling as you infuse it with divine love, pushing out all the fears that they may be storing. As you push the fears out of your cells, let it come out of your skin in the form of smoke. Allow your body to heal where it needs to heal and to strengthen the immune system where it needs to be strengthened. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Feel your body resetting itself to a higher state of good health. Breathe in and out. Now I want you to imagine you're taking your present consciousness outside of your body. Stand in front of yourself and look at yourself. And you project into your own consciousness in the physical body all the love you want to give yourself. Witness yourself healing. See the light from your consciousness going to your body, and visualize the light from above flushing through your body. Witness your body healing. Notice all the black smoke coming out of your skin. And now as you're witnessing this, I want you to chant with me so that you can orchestrate all the DNA, RNA in your cells, in your body, to reach a higher level of good health, to protect yourself not only from the coronavirus, but from all other unwanted illnesses. Ready now? Chant with me. Om Mani Padme Hum. Again. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. All this time witnessing all the black smoke coming out of your skin. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 As you're still looking at your physical body, I want you to put your hands together in prayer hands and be grateful and thank the universe for letting you reset your body to better health. And now I want you to take your outside consciousness, come back into your body. Feel your spiritual self and your physical self reconnecting. As I chant Om, I want you to feel every part of your consciousness integrating with your body. Om. Om. And slowly, easily bringing your consciousness back in the room. And as you hear the sound of my bowl, gently open your eyes and feel wonderfully well. Wow, that's wonderful. It's exactly 9 o'clock. I have a few minutes to stay on if you have questions or discussion, but I want to be respectful of your time. If you have to leave, we're so glad you could join us.
Thank you very much, Kweethai. Appreciate your work.
Thank you very much.
Yes, as always, you can feel a long distance. I mean, I could feel in your body just being flushed with energy, and in your voice, the tone carried, my whole body was vibrating. And so again, wonderful job. Thank you.
Kylie put in the chat, your opinion is none of my business.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's
really
good. I'd just like you to share with anyone here, if you'd like to, your experience, if this has been helpful to you in any way. Like I say, if it helps you, great. If it didn't help you, great. So like Brock said, your opinion is not my business. But I'm glad if you feel that your time spent here is worth the time spent here, and I'm happy that you're here. Next week we will still have another session. We'll have part 3, and that will take us to the end of April. Okay.
I just wanted to say the meditation was very powerful as always. It was it's so easy for me to get into that space, even though we're doing it here on Zoom, and I loved it. Thank you.
Which actually attests to my belief that energy is universal. And long before I know anything about Zoom, I have done remote sessions way back 15 years ago, I think, with someone from Singapore. And back then, you know, I could only do by phone and hour, 2 hours at a time. And I know that the client in Singapore had experienced some amazing changes. I know several years later when I visited Malaysia, she drove all the way up just to meet me. It's very nice to know. And I know that people who are choosing to do this kind of work, and I can share with you now, I've had a full career in hypnotherapy and as a catalyst for change in helping people do transformative work. The satisfaction and the joy you get from seeing real changes in people far exceeds anything dollars and cents can measure. It's something I call psychic income. Mm-hmm. Yes, you make your client pay a fee because if they don't pay, they don't own it. And I'm very particular about that. Don't do this energy work for free because it creates karmic debt. They have to give up something. You have to give up a blessing to receive a blessing. Now, those of you here, if you feel you benefited from these sessions, don't send me money. Go do something good for somebody else. Yeah. And if you feel inclined to send money to a food bank or someone else who needs it. I have food at home, thank you very much. But send it to them, right? So do something, pay forward. And so every little bit we do, we change the vibration of the energy fields around us. If I were to do this every Sunday, if it touches the life of one person, it's worth my time. Because I think every life is of value. I know when I was new in practice, people asked me, oh, I can get your website, the SEO, you get 100,000 hits. I said, what would I do with 100,000 clients? Right. I'd rather have meaningful conversation with one individual, because if that one individual makes a significant paradigm shift, energy shift, then it shifts her world, his world, and who will in turn shift that world. So my business model is I'm successful by changing lives one at a time, changing minds one at a time. So this is leverage. Go out and do stuff for other people, help other people, teach other people. All right, if no further questions, I'm going to call it to an end. Stay safe, stay well, and love one another.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Dr.
Bye.
Kweethai.
See you next week.
Thank you.
Yes. Good night, everyone.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Good morning. Good day.